All right, welcome, bitches, to the Transformation Nurse Academy podcast. I'm here again with Alicia Tresidder. This is our fifth and final part of the mini series, the Alicia Tresidder story. Welcome back, Alicia.
Thank
Alicia.
you.
I know I'm fucking that
No,
shit up against it.
you said it right the first time. Then you start thinking about it
I
and
know, see?
overthinking it.
Right, I'm fucking shit up and stuff. So, how have you been since the last time I saw you? Just so you know, everybody, this is our second time recording this fucking fifth episode because I fucked up the sound and shit, and Jane could have fixed it. So now we had to re-record it. So I appreciate you coming back and stuff.
Oh, no
How
problem.
have you
It's my
been?
pleasure. I've had a rough couple of weeks, a lot of pain.
So,
And
so the video you sent me, was that recent or is that old?
That's not that long ago. So
I know.
that wasn't that long
Look at
ago.
me.
Where I'm having difficulty. Yeah, getting stuck, and I have groceries delivered. Not that I'm lazy and can't go to the store, but
Well, you
it is
sold your fucking car.
difficult. I did. I sold my car, and then it is difficult, and it's hard to get around the store. And honestly, people are not nice to people that have disabilities. So whether I'm using my cane walker or they see me walking and I get stuck, or if I'm even in the little cart, people are just not nice
Do
in
you think they're?
public.
Do you think they're fucking jaded?
I do.
You think
I
they're
think,
they're looking at you and saying, "This bitch ain't nothing wrong with her and shit. Fucking walk normal."
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And
You-
so, because I'm home alone a lot and, where I would end up going to the store by myself, I don't like it because people are rude. They cut me off and
Right.
then I can't when there's obstacles and it's like an abrupt obstacle, I get stuck and then I generally fall. So I try not to do any of that. Like I try to go to the store. But so
When
yeah,
you
I was pick go ahead.
when you go to the store though, do you use your wheelchair or do you use your walker or both? Depends.
It just depends. If I go to a store and I know that they have a cart, I'll generally somebody's going with me, and so then I'll get the cart, or if I see a worker, I'll say, "Hey, is there electric cart?" So it just kind of depends.
I wonder if they have a fucking way that you can connect the wheelchair to a cart. So you can just fucking wheel your wheelchair around and have the cart and throw shit in there.
That would be
Mm.
nice. I haven't seen
John, get
one.
to fucking work and let's patent that shit. I know you won't hear this, but she'll fucking tell you. I don't,
Yes,
but maybe that's
exactly.
something maybe that's something we
Well,
can patent.
when I take my walker, I can hook the front wheels to the cart and I can push the cart like that.
Yeah, but is that safe?
No?
I know, but see if you can just find a way that you could connect the wheelchair to the cart
Mhm.
and make it safe and stuff, or make
It would be.
yeah,
It
all
would be
right,
nice. It would be nice.
all
And a
right. So
louder horn so people don't cut me off.
yeah, but you can just buy one of those fucking air horns and shit,
I
scare the fuck out of
know.
them and shit,
I'm
right?
telling you. I'm telling you.
That'd be
I
fun.
think about it.
Oh, that's a fucking prank we could do on TV. Make a prank. Wheel up behind you. I don't know if you ever watched the prank where he looks like a short little Hispanic guy. He's in fucking Home Depot or something. He's always fucking like he's stupid. And he's fucking spraying the water hose and shit. And he accidentally sprays somebody. You ever see that shit?
No, I
You
haven't.
should fucking Google that shit.
I
It's
will.
fucking fun.
I
And
will.
they're so mad at fuck. He's like fucking with the water hose and he can't. He's like he's dumb. Like he doesn't know how to use it. And his water hose is spraying. He turns and fucking spraying the other customer and shit. And the guy's like fucking mad. Or the boxes will fucking fall and hit somebody.
Oh
Or
no. Oh.
he'll get a big fucking piece of wood and turn around and whack. People
No, I
get so
have
mad at
not.
him. I know, but it's fucking funny as shit. See, we could do that.
Oh yes. Oh yes. We watched the Jokers. Those guys, the
Oh
three
yeah, yeah, yeah,
friends. Oh
yeah.
my
Where they
gosh.
gotta
They're
command each other to do stupid shit. Yeah,
yes.
that's fucking
And I was like,
funny.
how many times do they get
See?
hit?
See, I'm gonna do
Oh,
that to
I
you. You're
hit
gonna be in
them.
your wheelchair and shit. I'm like, all right, listen, you gotta fucking go up there and fuck with that person and honk your horn. That would
I
be
would
funny as
do it.
fuck. Yeah, that would be
Yes, it's
funny.
bringing awareness to disabled people,
Yeah, I
people
like
that
that.
struggle. I'm
Yeah, I
telling
like
you.
it.
Paybacks.
So last time we talked about this, I asked you, what does your husband think about your situation, and do you think he's ever decided to leave you, or do you think he wants to leave you?
He feels bad for me, which frustrates me because I don't like anybody to feel bad for me. And he worries about me a lot, and I know it stresses him a lot. Do I worry about him leaving me? Yes, and I've told him, like, "You don't have to put up with this. You don't have to stay with me. You can go live your
I stay
life.
with
You
you, just
don't
let
have to
me
be."
I stay with you, just let me have a little side piece and shit, that's all.
I give him the out, like, "Hey, you don't have to be
How
with
about
me. It's
just a sister
okay."
wife?
No,
No, you don't want that?
no, no,
Why not?
thank
You don't wanna
you.
share?
No, no, no.
Alright,
But
fucking shit.
he loves me. He says, "I'm not going anywhere. I'm here with you through everything,"
Yeah,
and
'cause
it's
it could
comforting.
could be him. Could be him that had gone through the stuff,
Exactly.
so
And
would
I
you have
told him, I said, "Man, if you." Oh, hell yes,
would you have
I would
stayed?
have.
Alright.
Yes,
I don't know, but how
absolutely.
many people would? Your spouse gets
Not
sick and shit,
many.
and
Yeah,
so
not many.
I hate to admit this, we didn't talk about this last time, but I didn't watch it last time we did this episode, but, my daughter got me into this fucking show. It's a K-drama, and it says marry it's a Korean drama called Marrying Your Husband, and this bitch got fucking cancer, and her husband is cheating on her with her best friend, and both of them, she's walking into the bedroom while they're just laying there holding each other. "Yeah, how we gonna fucking I wish that bitch would die already," and shit, and, like, it was really fucked up. I know, I was like, "Holy shit."
That's so
But
mean.
how many people think like
No,
that,
it's
though?
true. It's
Oh,
true. My uncle, he took wonderful care of his wife, and she had cancer, and she'd been fighting it the last 4 years, and it metastasized, went throughout
mhm.
her whole body. And so she ended up going on hospice. She passed away a few months ago. But he stayed with her. He was faithful to her. He stayed with her no matter what, and he felt guilty because, and a lot of people feel guilty, like, do is it bad that I feel better and now that they're gone?
No,
And
I don't
I
think it's
said, "No." I said, and I tell him, because that they're at peace. You were so
right,
stressed and worried about them and loved and cared for them, that now you're at peace knowing they're not suffering anymore.
right.
They're not in pain anymore. They're at peace.
He's not suffering anymore either, though.
No, exactly, and that's
Yeah.
what I told him, and that's what he's realizing, but he feels bad, and I said, "Don't feel bad, it's okay,"
Yeah, I wouldn't feel bad.
You miss out on things when you're going through that, because your focus is elsewhere, and it's
They're
okay.
she's probably in a better place having better fun now.
Yeah, exactly,
So
exactly.
why do you think he stays, your husband?
I think
Besides
he gen
do you think
I
he
think
genuinely loves you?
I do, I do. Actually, I know it, and
Why do you say that?
I
Why do you
recently came to that, so
why do you say that?
because, you know, any person, like you just said, anybody can walk away,
Yeah.
right? Anybody. And he chooses to stay. He chooses to suffer with me. He chooses to be
Is it
here
really
with
suffering?
me.
Did you ask him? Are you suffering?
No, and he tells me
Ah,
he's
see?
not, but and
But
that's
what? That's you.
me. I
That's you
know.
mind fucking
My
yourself.
insecurities. I
Yeah.
know. I know. And he could have easily walked away.
Do you feed
He
him?
has. Yes.
Do you still fuck him?
Yes.
Then he ain't suffering. That's all men need.
He's
That's all
not.
I know, but that's all we need. We don't need nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah,
If
this
you
is
stop
true.
one of those 2 things, then I'd say he's suffering, but he ain't
Yeah,
suffering.
no. But
See, that's
there's
good.
days, that I can't cook and whatnot.
Can
Today
you
was a
order
bad
shit?
day.
Can you
Yes,
order
I
huh?
order
Can he order
stuff,
shit?
or yes.
Yeah,
Or it's like I have, like, I made homemade potato soup. I'm like, there's homemade potato soup, there's Indian food, there's, loco moco, left. There's, so we have food, like he doesn't
yeah,
starve. And a lot of times he don't let me take care of him. Like, he doesn't let me make his plate. If he's sick, he doesn't let me do anything for him. He's like, I got it. I'm good.
yeah.
You just sit and rest, and so no, I genuinely know that he loves me to the
Was he
core.
upset I stretched you out last time?
No, not
Right.
at all. He was good. He was good.
So we talked about this last time because I posted this question on my Facebook page about because this kind of ties into women and abuse and why women won't speak up. But I posted this last time about a question where if a patient slaps you, do you slap them back or do you turn the other cheek? And what was your response last time?
Mine was turn the other cheek. I'm not going to hit a patient. I'm not going to hit a patient. I don't care what you do.
What if it's a
As much
natural
as I would want
response?
to,
What if it was a
it
natural response?
And if it was, I would feel bad and but I would report it.
Mm.
I would do an incident report. I definitely report it. I'd report it to the doctor. I would and say, hey, they hit me and I just reacted
Yeah,
and
but the
this is what
problem
I
with
did.
but the problem with reporting it to the doctor, do you think they're gonna charge anything?
No.
Right, so how if
But
we don't
every time we do an incident report, we still have to report it to the doctor to say, "Hey, this is what happened.
yeah, I
They're
get you.
fine. There's no injuries." So but I would report it to my supervisor and everybody that I would have to
I
report it to.
if you report it to your supervisor, are they obligated to report it to the state?
Yes. And if they don't, it's my choice. It's I have to. I'm responsible
Why do you think they won't report it though if it's their job?
because they don't want to deal with any tags. They don't want to deal with state coming in. They don't want to deal with anybody coming in and snooping around. And so a lot of the times, a lot of supervisors prefer not to report things.
So I'm kind of glad in a way that we had to re-record this because a lot of things happened since then. I saw an article where a hospital in New York was fined $2 million for making nurses go over guides, and the
Mm.
nurses got a big old fat check, like two or $300,000 each or something like that. But it made me realize, and I want other nurses to realize this: why does a hospital not give a shit about that 2 million bucks?
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because they made $10 or $20 million in profit. They paid a $2 million
Mm.
fine, so they still made a profit. But if they hire
Mm-hmm.
more nurses, what does that mean? Is it cheaper to pay the fine or hire more staff?
Probably for them, hire more staff.
Right. See what I mean? So that's why they don't give a shit. I know, but that's why
Yeah.
that took me.
No,
It's
that's
kind of a little
true.
wake up. They don't give a shit. So
Right.
but if nurses won't report it, because in the hospital, a lot of nurses won't report it because they say it's a part of the job. And I'm not talking about your dementia patients, because even dementia patients, though, I think people should report it. Why?
Mhm. They need to report it because they need to know what's going on. That's for administration or management to know, like, hey, we need more help. We can't just leave this one nurse in there with 33 patients or 29 patients and this abuse is happening. Whether it's a resident to resident, a resident to a staff member, or what have you, it shows the importance of reporting it all. It shows that, hey, we need help. This is not just on them. We
So
need
think
the
about
support
this.
that we need on the floor for our
Yeah,
safety and for the patient's safety.
but think about the shit you've been through. So we talked about your childhood, your mom's
Mhm.
brother. We talked about your
Mhm.
first husband. But last time when we recorded this episode, I don't remember what facility it was, but you told me you worked at a facility. And I don't
Mhm.
remember if you said it was a psych patient or old kooky ass grandma, but somebody hurt you and hurt your shoulder or did something to you. What was that?
So I have been, it was a skilled nursing facility many times in this facility. Management wasn't listening for one, something simple,
Wait,
right?
wait, hold on. I gotta say something. Imagine that shit. Management wasn't listening. All right, go ahead.
um like a bed was broke
Mhm.
and it was when it was still a crank one, and
Oh yeah,
so I was like, hey, it's sticking, there's something wrong. um and put it in the book because you gotta, oh well, if you want it to be fixed, it's got to go in the maintenance log, and then you put it in the maintenance log, and then you have your shift, whatever, you come back, you go to crank the bed because you have to crank the bed,
right.
and oh, it's still not fixed, and then I end up jacking up my shoulder and in excruciating pain, shot at my neck, everything. And I go back and I look at the maintenance log. Maintenance log was signed off stating it was completed
Oh, and
and
it
that it
was.
was fixed, and it wasn't. And so I put it back in there again, and then ended up going on workman's comp for it. And then it was kind of funny because when I went back to check, and it wasn't the end of the month, and because they clear them out at the end of the month, that page was gone.
Oh,
So I thought that was interesting. But anyhow, but I'd get hit multiple times by elderly patients in the dementia ward. We had elderly dementia patients that were actually psych patients, but
hmm,
because they aged out of a psych facility, because we don't have, I think there's two in California for aging psych patients that age
like
out.
old people.
Yes,
Like,
elderly, geriatric
what
people
age
with
do they
psych.
age out? I didn't even know that. What
So,
age do they age out?
yeah, so I think it's like 63, 64, I think it is.
So if you're over
So anybody
64, you got to
over,
go to a special place.
yes, and there's only two. There's one in Sacramento, or no, sorry, one in San Francisco and one down south. And they're
So
they're full.
a nut house for old people.
Yes.
I got you. I know that's
And
terrible. Me,
so it is. But
I'm
so
going to hell.
you are. But so for the, mentally ill that are older adults, yeah, a lot of them go into skilled nursing. So,
Mm,
and then they end up going into a locked facility, oh, because they have dementia or Alzheimer's,
and they don't.
Alzheimer's.
They're actually nuts.
And right, and they
I
don't,
got
and they
you.
actually have a psych condition,
Mhm.
a psych diagnosis that the other horrible part is that in skilled nursing and psych meds, there's many things that tie skilled nursing's hands as a whole for certain medications.
That's
Don't ask me
because
which, and
that's
that's because of Title
because
22,
no,
the
that's
state,
because the motherfuckers who make the rules have never been nurses and they
exactly.
don't know what the hell they doing. They're just making laws and shit.
Yes,
They're just a bunch
that,
of dumbasses.
and it's like, well, we're trying to treat the patient to give the patient a better
Mm.
quality of life. They need these medications. So, but the loophole is that if they have an outpatient psych doctor, they can, and they're capable, they can go to their outpatient psych appointments and see their psychiatrist and get medications. And as long as it's prescribed by their outpatient psychiatrist,
So
they can take those
why don't we
medications.
get a fucking bus, drive them to the psych doctor?
I know. No,
I'm just
exactly.
being honest. Like, let's load them all up on the fucking bus. Every damn skilled
Exactly.
nursing patient, load them up on the bus, and we'll go take a trip to the psych doctor and let him write some medicines for us.
I know. And that's exactly it.
Is that wrong of
And
me?
no, it's not,
They
because
probably need it.
a lot of them need it. A lot of them hasn't been diagnosed with it, or they're struggling. And so, that gives them a better quality of life, because at the end of the day, that's our goal,
Right.
right?
I got you. So you got hurt by a piece of a damn equipment. Do you think that
Yes.
the leadership gives a shit? Apparently they don't, because you said the paper was missing.
No.
So
Yeah, no.
you think
And I
what?
was struck I was struck by patients in the dementia ward.
Mm,
And so, and I
mm,
would say something, and I was filing SOC 341. So like, oh, you don't report that. What do you mean I don't report that? That was assault on me.
right.
And I was protecting another patient that still has to get reported.
And
If
what
I
is
am
that?
assaulted, I'm still reporting it.
And what is the SOC 341?
So that is a elder abuse, child abuse. It's an abuse form that is required by the state of California to fill out if we suspect or if there is any type of abuse. So it's a abuse reporting form.
So let me ask you this though. What age do you fill out an SOC 341 for elder abuse? What age does a patient have to be?
You know, I don't, I'm not sure.
So as a 55-year-old nurse, if I got hit by a patient in the hospital, could they fill out a SOC 341 because I'm an elder? And that would be
I mean,
constituted as elder abuse?
right, that's true.
I'm just
Yeah.
asking, like
No, that's a good question.
most nurses most nurses don't know this, but people that are 40 plus years or older are in a protected class at work. Did you know that?
no, but I
Right.
think we talked about this. You mentioned that last time, that we're in a special class,
Hmm. Anybody
that
that's
we're
40,
protected.
right? Anybody that's over 40 is constituted as an old person. And you get fired and shit, they have to think about age discrimination.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
All
that's
right.
what you were saying last time.
Right. See,
Yeah.
so
So in skilled nursing, one, if you are a resident, period, we fill out an SOC 341. We can
mm.
have a resident in there that's in their 20s.
Oh, I got you. I got you. Okay.
It doesn't matter. So, I mean, we have, as long as you're 18 and above, you're
You're
a
gonna feel.
resident.
I got you.
We're filling out an
So I wonder if
SOC
it's, but I
341.
wonder if it's skilled nursing specific that form. That's what I want to know.
Well, I've used that form in skilled nursing and used that form in psych as well.
Mm.
So in the like crisis unit, if you're triaging someone, if there's
Yeah, but
suspected abuse, we
we
fill
as
one out.
we as ED nurses, most of us, I would say at least 80 or 90% of us don't have what?
Mm.
Psych training.
Oh, that's true.
We
Yeah.
don't have any psych training.
Yeah.
We probably suck at psych
Mm-hmm.
patients. Unless you were a psych nurse, we don't know what to
Mm-hmm.
do. We just want to drug you and keep you quiet, but is that really beneficial?
No.
So, so you talked about the SOC 341, but is it mandatory to fill that out?
Yes.
So
So
what if
we
you're
have to do an
what if
incident
you're but
report.
what if your manager or your charge nurse doesn't want to fill it, like you just told me?
Oh,
That's
it
not
doesn't matter. It's my
right.
responsibility. It is not my manager's responsibility. If my manager refuses or tells me not to file it or tells me not to report it to state or anything like that, I'm reliable. I'm not going down for nobody. There is not one person in this world that is worth my license.
All right.
And so to protect myself and to protect my license, regardless of the fear of retaliation or oh, they're not going to listen, nothing's going to happen. Well, nothing's going to happen if you're not reporting it. The more you report, right? The squeaky wheel gets the oil,
Yeah,
right?
but a lot of
And
people, and I'm gonna be sexist, a lot of women feel
mhm,
that you when you report things or you speak up, you're looked at as a bitch or you're looked at as
right.
the squeaky wheel or you're not being a team player. How do
Mhm.
you help nurses like that understand that who gives a shit? Like this is our job, this is our duty, and you can't worry about retaliation. I mean, why do women worry about retaliation first of all?
Because I think it happens so much. So many times do we get suppressed or do we get told something or do we get, badgered for speaking up and saying something.
So
Somebody always wants to knock us down.
so
And it doesn't matter.
get your ass
Exactly.
up. Why?
Get
How
up,
can
say
we help
something.
them? How can we help them get up and not worry about it? But why do they worry about it? First of all, what is it that's in your stomach and your mind and your heart? What is it that you give a shit about if people talk shit
We're
about
people pleasers. We want to make everybody happy.
you? All right. She
And
said it,
we
not
can be
me. I don't want to be in trouble
and
for being sexist.
and we can be sensitive, but at the end of the day, as a woman working in healthcare, and have been through these situations, I didn't care what my managers thought. I didn't care what anybody else thought. I did what was right. I took an oath. My oath was to take care of everyone, right? No, without bias and all of that. And as long as I'm following policy and procedure and I'm following the state regulations to the best of my ability and I'm within my scope of practice, and if something happens, I'm reporting it because nothing's going to change if we don't say something. We
Okay, but
have to be the voice.
now I'm gonna throw you a fucking curveball.
Oh God.
Because
Okay.
I don't think I asked you this last time because you didn't really talk about this time. But so you just said we have to take care of what? You said we have to do the right thing. We have to take care of the patient. What
Hmm.
about taking care of yourself? Why should I, as a woman, 'cause remember this is in honor of Women's History Month. Why, as
Yes.
I a woman, why should I listen to you who didn't stand up? And I know it's hard as a kid, but you didn't stand up as a kid and say, "Hey, I'm fucking getting abused." You didn't stand up as
Hmm.
a young adult to say, "Hey, my
Hmm.
first husband was kicking the shit out of me." Why should I listen to you? You didn't stand up.
I didn't. And I learned the hard way. And I'm hoping to show you and teach you and you hopefully
And I don't
learn
mean that in a
from.
mean way, but I know what
No.
people are
Yeah,
gonna.
no, no, no. I
I know
didn't.
people are
Yeah.
gonna say that shit. So
Exactly. And, I didn't know better. And my upbringing that I went through, I didn't know that that was wrong. I didn't know that that wasn't right. And especially with the things that I seen and I witnessed that, oh, this is normal stuff. What?
well, it was normal
You
for you.
know, it was normal for me. And learning and going to school and learning. So, educating yourself. I educated myself. You know, the same thing with staying with my first husband. I was so sheltered and controlled. I wasn't allowed to talk to certain people. I was only allowed to talk to like these few, and that was it. Nobody else. Because if I did, oh, it was put to me as they were attacking me, and to protect me, I needed to stay away from them. Oh, to protect me from that marriage counselor who was badgering me, I needed to stop going. You know, it was, that victim mentality, and in that I don't know if you call it a Stockholm syndrome
I
or
think so.
whatnot,
I
but
do.
you believe the things that you're told, and the things that I was told were incorrect. But when I got out of that cycle and I branched out and was talking to new people and these things were coming up and I'm sitting here talking like, well, isn't that normal? Like that's what you should
Right.
do. And then they set me straight and they're like, no. And I was like, oh, that's not normal.
No, you got
Oh, you
brainwashed.
know, and I did. And
Yeah.
so somebody shared their story with me and it woke me up. And then I started realizing and educating myself. So I'm being that person. And so,
You're
and
paying
I'm
it forward.
sharing exactly that, it's okay. There's a will, there's a way. It's going to happen. There are resources available. There are people that are specialized in helping you. Ombudsman is there for everyone. Did you find your ombudsman real
No, I
quick
did.
number?
No,
Okay,
I don't
you're
think we
supposed
have.
to look for that.
I know, I know. I don't think we have fucking ombudsman for the hospital. You keep going and sharing your
And
story.
so,
Ombudsman.
me sharing my story, you know, yeah, no, I could beat myself up every day,
Don't
and
beat
I
yourself
have,
up.
and that's my trauma, and that's what I deal with. That I stayed, that I put up with it, that I didn't speak up sooner, and that's my own struggles that I have to deal with. But to be able to get this message out to other people, men and women, because it also happens to men,
What?
this is not, yes,
No.
what? It's not a sexist
What?
thing. I mean, I know
That's
we're
some
on Women's
bullshit.
Month, but
Men don't
it
get
does
abused.
happen. Women can abuse men, and it does happen. And, it's just speaking up and speaking out and being your own advocate for yourself. Because at the end of the day, there's not going to be a better advocate and a better person to speak up than yourself
Yeah,
for yourself.
but a long time, for a long time, and it's probably still somewhat like this in America. For a long time, though, when women were abused, it was okay because you were property of the men.
You
And
probably
when
deserved it. What'd you do?
right,
hmm
and then women
hmm
started standing up, and they would kill their husbands, and they'd go to jail. But I don't remember at
hmm
what time. Maybe in the late '80s, early '90s, maybe 2000s. That's when we finally realized that if you killed your husband because he was mentally, physically, and sexually abusing you, that maybe you should be let off.
Yeah, self-defense.
Yeah, but I don't know how far we've come though. With it's
No,
not like we've come
I
that far along. I bet.
we haven't. I will tell you, when I was dealing with all of mine in the early 2000s,
See what I
um,
mean?
shortly after my situation, because it followed me to Merced, and he had had the 2 restraining orders and all of that stuff. And so when the abuse continued now out of county, because I moved out of county and all of that, um, shortly thereafter, I mean, I noticed within my case and everything that was happening, and every time it happened, I called the police, because it took me a long time to feel safe to be able to
Right.
call the police. And so then,
Would
once I
they?
felt that power and that confidence that it's okay, I did. I called every
Yeah,
single
but would they
time.
help you? Were
And
they
then
helpful?
it was very helpful. One, it
Were the police
created a
helpful?
paper trail.
I know, but were the
It
police help?
the police were helpful. They
Right.
showed up instantly, immediately. And then I noticed after that, I don't remember exactly about the time frame because a lot was going on then, but I know shortly after, a girl's boyfriend had stabbed her to death.
Oh shit.
And so domestic violence really, I
Scott Peterson in
feel,
Modesto.
right. I went to school with Lacey
Mm.
Peterson.
Do you think he
You
did it?
know, I do.
All right.
Yes, without a doubt, I do.
He wanted
Um,
to. He wanted to get some booty. Not that I want to
uh,
bring up the other person because she's not.
right.
She's just as abused as the wife.
Yeah.
I mean, he
Yeah.
manipulated both of them. So yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, I think it's gotten more awareness now, and I think the police, and now, so if you, and this wasn't the case then when I was dealing with my domestic violence, they still, my speech is gonna go. Um,
Stressing
they
you out.
still no. Um, when I would report it, back then it was, do you want to press charges? Now they don't. You, the victim, we can't say if we want to press charges
They're just gonna
or
fucking do
not.
it for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they, because it became a liability to where, oh, they don't want to press charges, and then the next day
that
they're
person
now
was dead,
dead.
right?
Yeah. So I learned that, and so I was like, oh well, that's good. That's, I feel that that is important. And I also know that too, they started separating people in a domestic violence, where they would take the victim, and the alleged abuser, separately, where then the victim felt safer to talk. Because I
Right.
will tell you, if the police came, and when the police came, like the first time they came, he had ran, and so he wasn't there when I spoke to the police. But I will tell you, if he was there, no, I would not have said anything. I
'Cause you were scared?
Because I would have been too afraid. Yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
got you. That makes
you
sense.
know. So I feel that it's important for people to speak up, for women to speak up. We have a voice. We are not, and we can use it. I mean, don't cry wolf, because I've met many women that try to this bullshit of crying wolf, or saying this or that, whatever, for attention. That don't do that, because we
Right.
work so hard to have a voice, that when those that spread false information or make accusations, sorry, that aren't clear, or
You're fine.
that aren't correct, that's what hurts us even more,
Right.
and
'Cause
it's
nobody's gonna
and
wanna
you
believe you.
nobody's, and that's okay. Not everybody's going to believe me, and and with people spreading the false, yeah, it makes it where, oh well, if she said it, oh, then that's everybody. Yeah, you're lumping us in, and
Right.
that's don't do that, because not everybody is doing, spreading the word or bringing awareness because they want sympathy. I don't want sympathy. I'm bringing awareness for education, to maybe help somebody, to maybe reach out to someone and help them have a voice and find that strength within themselves.
Right. I talked about that. I went to talk to the Fresno City, Student Nurses Association day, and I told them about your story and to listen that even though you're not your life, but your physical part of your life is becoming a little bit more fucked up and less normal than before, you still have a good spirit, you still have a good attitude. You're like, don't make fucking excuses. I can if I'm still living and smiling, then you can too and shit. So
Hmm.
no, I like that about you though.
Thank you.
So so we talked about this off air, but I wanted you to talk about it too. We talked about the story where recently the father from Oregon, he so it says American man turned himself into the police after authorities in Oregon accused him of
Mhm.
drugging three 12-year-old girls as his daughter's sleepover using mango smoothies laced with benzodiazepines. What do you think about that
Mhm.
shit? That's why I don't like my
So
fucking kids to go nowhere and shit. And when
exactly.
my daughters bring over friends, I'm like, I don't even want to be around them shit because I don't want to be accused of anything because
Right,
people are
exactly.
fucked up and shit.
It's sickening, because it's our children aren't safe, and we have to be vigilant and be mindful, and educate and talk to our children. It's very important to talk to your children about being safe. And parents don't want to meet the parents because, oh, we're being nosy. It's for safety. And if
Right.
if a parent tells you no, there's a good reason. And I raised my daughters that way. But it's sickening, and I'm very protective of my daughters. I
Do you
didn't
know
want
how?
them.
Do you know how you got caught?
How?
So one of the
Oh,
daughters
I
as she
was
was getting,
reading it. I
yeah,
didn't
one of
get
the
to that
daughters,
part.
as she was getting a little bit sleepy, she was texting her mom, "Can you please come and get me? Please just come and get me. Don't take no for an answer. Can you please?" Like she's texted her mom a million times. The mom was smart enough and called the other family, the other mothers and shit, and said, "Hey, bitches, we gotta go get our kids." And when they all showed up, he didn't want to give them to them, and they're like, "Listen, you, you either give me my kids or else." So I
Mhm.
would see that
Mhm.
that right there. I'm like, I'd have burnt the fucking house down.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Definitely.
but talking about this story again, I'm gonna throw you a curveball, not to be mean or nothing, because people are gonna
Okay.
ask though, why would you stay with your first husband? Now we talked about this because you said, last time that you didn't know that he was abusing your daughters or your kids. I don't.
Right. Right.
So why would you stay with your first husband even though you knew he was abusing your kids?
So,
But did you know, and when did you know? And what
okay.
can you, what advice can you give to parents or to mothers and shit who going through the same thing?
So,
Take
I
your time,
didn't
relax.
I know. Um, I didn't know.
Brief, brief,
And the Husky 5. Uh,
brief.
I didn't know it was, that anything was happening when I was at work. So when I was at work, he was abusing, the older girls, and,
And when you mean
I found
abusing,
out so he
you
was
mean
hitting them.
okay.
And then he would do weird they called it creative, punishment
What the fuck
because
does that mean?
yeah, so I found out he would, like, have them, uh, like, go out back and fight,
He'd
they
make them
could
fight?
pick up something, yeah,
Shut the fuck up.
tie them around the tree, put honey on them so the ants would it was horrible. Um, I was at work, I had already at this time had already started planning my escape, to leave with me and the kids. So I had to do it secretively because I was told that if he could not have me, nobody could have me.
Right,
So I was in fear of my life, and then of course my girls. And my thing at that moment was, okay, if I'm not safe, my kids aren't safe.
right.
And, so that I knew of, nothing had happened. Like, he wasn't doing anything to them. I'd come home, somebody would have a black eye or a fat lip or a bruise on their arm, and I'd be like, "What happened?" "Oh, so and so hit me," and it was all and they would always fight just on their own. So I was like, "Okay, we can't do that. You guys shouldn't put your hands on one another." But I got called at work by CPS and by their worker and their counselor and says, "You need to come home now." Okay. I told my boss I gotta go, and I worked in Merced, and I lived in Modesto. So I get home, and I get there, and there's, CPS is there, the counselor's there, and law enforcement's there, and I'm like, what is going on? So they talked to me before I ever go inside, and they were telling me what had happened, getting my side. And I was like, "What?" And then they had already spoken to him. And then I go in and I'm talking, and then they brought the girls out, and the girls were talking to me. And I'm like, "What happened? What's going on?" This and that. And then they had told me, yes. No, they did it at that moment. Then they had him come in, and then they had told him to tell me what
Oh,
had happened. So he did. And I looked at the girls and I said, "Is this true?" And they said, "Yes." And then right in front of everybody. So why didn't you tell me? I said, "You
they're
should
probably
have
scared
told
like
me."
you. Probably scared like
They
you.
and they were. And I said, "You should have told me. I would have
If you were
protected
a
you. You
grown
would not."
woman, you as a grown woman were scared. What do you think little girl's gonna be?
Yes, yes. And I told them, I said, "But had I known, I could have protected you better. I would have done differently. I would have taken you to Nana and Papa's, and you would be there and never be alone," and all of that. And so I had already started the process of the divorce and getting full custody. I'd already started everything. and was secretively paying for it.
Did that help
And
push everything to over?
yes, yes. And so then what had happened was he was not allowed to be alone with the older girls
Mhm.
without me present. And the only reason the girls could stay was because of me. And so, and that's what I would do. If I had to work at 6 o'clock in the morning, I'm up at 3. I'm getting all the kids, and I'd have to do 2 trips because he couldn't drive them. He couldn't be alone with them, nothing. So I would drive
Were you still
half of
staying
them.
together with him?
Um, at that point, no, at that point, I had kicked him out of the house.
Mm.
The only thing he
Why
had
did you have to
access
make 2
to,
trips then?
because my car did not fit everyone.
Well, yeah, but why do you give a shit about him? Why didn't you just fucking take the kids to grandma and grandpa's and tell him to fuck off and die?
Oh, no, no, no. So I had to do 2 trips because I had 5 kids, and they all
Oh,
didn't fit
I
in
got
my
you.
car.
That's right, I forgot you had
So
all the other kids too and shit, that's right.
yes. And so, so I would have to get up. I would take the babies with one of the older girls to my parents, come back, grab the others, and then take them and drop them off.
That's
So
right.
it was a whole process. And then I would leave and go to work and then come home and do it all over again. So,
Women are awesome.
um, huh?
Women are awesome.
Yeah, we don't care. So,
I know
and
women are
then
crazy. You guys do a lot of stuff that men probably would never do.
yeah,
True.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I do.
True.
I do. So then, shortly thereafter, so he went in, moved with his girlfriend, and all of that, and it was just me and
That
the
didn't take
girls.
long.
No, 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 no. That was already a thing, and then
Oh
he just
shit.
moved in with her. So, which is fine. You do you. You don't want to be
Did
with
he
me,
fuck
that's
her
fine.
up too?
No.
Oh,
Mm-mm,
see, what
mm-mm.
was it about you that he, maybe she was a little bit louder than you, and she's like, "Listen, motherfucker."
Yeah, I mean, it's possible.
I
It's
don't know. I'm just curious
possible.
why
I'll
why
never.
you. I know. I'm just curious why you and why not her. See what
Yeah,
is
why not? I
what
agree.
is it that he felt he could manipulate you?
Yeah.
All right,
Well, one, he knew my whole story, and I feel that he
used it against
used.
you.
Mhm,
Yeah, I get
mhm.
that. He was a
You
groomer.
know, yeah.
All right,
I
I
love it.
know.
I see a pattern, right? A
Yeah,
pattern.
I get that.
So with that, I chose to break the pattern and break the cycle. And then went so he wasn't living with us. I kicked him out that December because that's about when everything happened. So I kicked him out. So then that July, my daughter's 4th birthday, he was upset because I wasn't gonna let her come to the house and
Too bad.
bring a gift for
Hmm.
my daughter. And we had kind of gotten into it because he knew I started talking to someone, and I'd only started talking to them like a month and a half prior, and literally talking on the phone, not anything else, not anything. And
Were
so
you already divorced?
the divorce was already filed.
Yeah. So I mean,
Yeah.
he got nothing to
Oh,
fucking say. Yeah.
yeah, no, but not in his mindset.
I know. I know.
So until it was finalized, to him, I was still his property.
Wow.
So,
I haven't got a bill to sell yet.
yeah, yeah. So then, that's when things got really, really bad, and he almost killed me that day. And then that's the day that I was like, my mom told me, whatever decision you make, that's when she found out how bad things really were. He basically kidnapped me, drove me to my mom's, tried to choke me with my mom in between us. And she was the one that gave me courage to call the police and said,
Mm,
whether you call the police or not, I think you should call the police. And, we're here for you. I have you. We're going to take care of you. It's going to be okay no matter what. So I did. He had a felony warrant out. I had to go back to the house with my parents and stuff. And so, I stayed because I had to be very strategic in my planning. And I had to make sure that when I left, that it was going to be the safest move for me
For
and for my children.
I got
And so it took a lot of planning. I should not have stayed as long, but at the same time, I love is blind, and I was just
not just that,
naive
but
and not understanding, you
nobody's
know?
been in your I mean, nobody until you've been in somebody's shoes like you, what the fuck can they say? I mean,
Exactly. You
you know,
don't know
it's always easy.
until really
Yeah, it's always easy
it's
to be a Monday morning quarterback and say, "Well, why didn't you? Shoulda, coulda, woulda." I get you. That's
exactly,
I'm just asking the
exactly.
questions that
No,
I know.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, and then so and also during that time, I was securing us a home to live in Merced. So I couldn't just go and up and go with that many kids, you know? So that was the whole thing, and so I secured us a place to live. We were gone within a month. I had a place to live, sold the house, everything. I walked away with me with myself, the clothes on my back, my kids and their belongings, and that was it.
Yeah,
Peace
I
out. I
mean, you were
didn't I
safe.
didn't leave with
Yeah,
money. I didn't nothing. I didn't care. I don't care. My safety and my kids' safety, that was number 1.
and you
When I
rebuilt.
found that courage, that's what drove me. That's driven me to do all the things that I was told for so long I couldn't
Right.
do, and, that person that I was trying to get molded into by other people, I was refusing and I was like, I have to break the cycle. I have to show my daughters that you don't depend on a man. You don't depend on anybody. And that's how I put it to him. I just didn't put it
Except.
as men. I put anybody. You can only depend on yourself.
Right.
Period. At the end of the day, don't depend on anybody to pay your bills. You pay your bills. Don't
Right.
because then nobody can take it away from you.
Right. I
If you
agree with
lose
that.
it, that's on you. That's
Right.
you taking ownership. That's you taking responsibility, you
So
know?
maybe this was good that we had to re-record this because
I think so
this is
too.
because this is for Women's Month. What
Mhm.
is it that you would like to let the women know going forward, and how can we help women? How can you and we help women in nursing, out of nursing, who's getting abused and used, and how can we all make a difference to help women?
Have a voice, find your strength, talk to someone. Be safe, definitely, without a doubt. Be safe. Think of your safety. Think of your children. Think of what you would want them to be raised in, and how you want them raised. And you got to break the cycle somewhere.
Right.
Take back control. Your light's dimmed, and that's okay. You can get it back. I promise you, because I'm here on the other side of it and survived it. I'm not a
Not just
victim.
survived, you thrived.
I did.
You
And,
rebuilt the whole life.
I did. I
Yeah.
have a wonderful husband. My children are doing phenomenal. I am proud of my accomplishments as a nurse. I'm proud of my accomplishments as a woman. Speak to somebody, reach out. You have questions, reach out to me, reach out to Kevin.
So there's an
There are
organization.
places.
Yeah, there's an organization. I've been trying to pair them, but I'm just a small time person. But they're called nomore.org. NOMORE.org. The No More campaign to end domestic violence and sexual assault is dedicated to getting these issues out of the shadows and encouraging everyone to be a part.
Mhm,
So, how can you help us be a part? Like she said, don't be afraid to reach out to her, reach out to me.
mhm.
So, I'm proud of you. I'm glad that you
Thank
did
you.
this. Yeah. Do you feel
Thank
good about
you.
sharing your story?
I do. I do. It's a long journey. It's been a long journey, and I am proud of myself, and that's for me to
I
compliment
know. I
myself.
know it's hard, isn't it?
Huge. Oh yeah,
It is.
no, I'm not good. I don't take compliments. So if anybody compliments me, I'm sorry that if I don't I don't know how to act. I'm just gonna tell you. I
No,
don't.
it's not you.
I don't.
I think most people who go through what you have gone through are probably the same way. They just want to be humbled. They're just thankful that they're alive, that they're
Mhm.
thriving, and they don't need any
Mhm.
accolades. And so I get it.
Yeah. And it is what it is. And that's me taking control. I refuse to let my the people that hurt me have continue to have control over me. I
Right,
refuse. I refuse. And so I had to take my control back, and how I did that was, speaking up and saying something and not dwelling on it.
right.
I could have ended up
I know.
I
Right.
could have ended up really bad. I
Right.
I could, I could have been on drugs. I could have been an alcoholic. I could have, you
Been a
know,
serial killer.
I could have been a serial
Right.
killer.
True. It's true.
I could have, there's so many things I could have been, but I chose not to because I
Right.
felt that I had a purpose in life. And, I had to be that figure for my children. I had to be that role model for my daughters. What happened? Your screen shut off.
I don't know what happened. I got kicked out.
You sure did.
I'm
I
sorry,
stopped
Jane. Fuck it.
though.
You better fix this shit, Jane. I
Luckily,
wa-
I got everything I wanted to say out
you
before it.
No, you good. You good. It's all right. So I just want everybody to know that this is the end of our part 5 of a 5-part series with Alicia Tresidder. But what I want you to know is she's gonna write a book. So make sure you keep on the lookout for her book because there's a lot more details that she cheated me on and left out and shit. But it's okay. There's always some good stuff that you gotta leave out for yourself and stuff. This is good
And
though.
if there's an encore, maybe if somebody wants an encore, maybe we do
Yeah,
another mini series. Who
yeah. Let's go.
knows? And more
I
things
like.
come out.
Yeah. So I appreciate you spending time with me. You didn't have to do this. I know a lot of people are like, why share your story, but I do appreciate it. All right.
Thank you.
All right, bitches. Thank you for joining us. Transformation Nurse Academy podcast. My name is Kevin. This has been Alicia Tresidder, and I hope that you watch all fucking 5 parts and let bitches know to keep watching and let women have good power. All right, Alicia, you have a good night.
Thank you. You too.